you would expect. Sal Paolantonio is covering the Eagles out in Philly. Sal, what's the atmosphere like at the stadium with kickoff now just a few hours away?
Hey there, Laura. Look at this spectacular day for football in South Philadelphia. But I want you to check this out to get the mindset of this town. This was at 5:45 this morning. Over 14 hours before kickoff. I was here in South Philadelphia to help the local ABC affiliate kick off the coverage. And I got to tell you, I was shocked to see tailgaters out here in South Philadelphia 14 hours before kickoff. And it has just built over time. The energy here is amazing. Now, that's the mindset of the town. The mindset of the team is a little bit more subdued, set by Jalen Hurts. He said in his final message to the team, it's about togetherness. It's about the evolution of what we learn from one another and what we've gone through together. And this iteration of Philadelphia Eagles, if we have that togetherness, we can carry forward and get another championship here in Philadelphia. Laura?
Well, Sal, as you know, defending Super Bowl champions have won 20 of their last 25 season openers. So maybe those Eagles will fare well. We'll pick this game later on in the show. Thanks so much to Sal Paolantonio. Let's carry on here. And Micah Parsons, by the way, 4 seasons in Dallas. He won't be out there tonight. The defense struggled when he was off the field. The Cowboys were much better when it came to pressuring the quarterback. And get this, their defense allowed 4 times as many passing touchdowns per interception when Parsons was off the field. Look who's here. Hey, guys. I got to scoot my chair in. I'm really far away.
There you go.
Hey. Dan Orlovsky, Peter Schrager, Jason McCourty. By the way, this is our regular Thursday crew, so you're going to be seeing us all together throughout the season. This is it. I really wanted you to leave him hanging, but you didn't. Okay, let's get it going. Peter.
You did it. Oh.
Dang it. He forced me into it. No Micah on that front for Dallas. What exactly do you expect that unit to look like tonight?
You know, they're not exactly shaking in their boots about losing Micah Parsons on defense. I've spoken to some sources in Dallas, and maybe they're just trying to sell it, and maybe they're just trying to cover up an ugly wound by making it seem better than it is. They like their signing of Dante Fowler. They like Sam Williams. They like that they drafted an edge rusher in the 2nd round out of Boston College who they think can make an immediate impact. They don't think that they suddenly fell off a cliff because they lost one player on the defense. As disrespectful as that might sound to Micah Parsons, they wouldn't have made the trade if they didn't think they can hang in there on defense without him. I am fascinated to see how that goes. We'll check the stats at the end of the season, but I do know at least one of us at this table picked Micah Parsons to be the Defensive Player of the Year this year. And if that's the case, that's a major, major loss that maybe they underestimated.
It is a major loss, and Matt Eberflus, the new defensive coordinator, he's a guy that doesn't bring a ton of pressure. He relies on that front 4 to be able to create pressure and also to stop the run. You mentioned a few of those names. That's who I'm looking at tonight. I want to see the front 4 of this Dallas Cowboys team and what they're able to do to stop Philly. For a lot of people at home, you look at just these pictures and you're like, well, who are these guys? These are the guys that are supposed to represent the Cowboys. And yes, you said Sam Williams on the edge. You said Dante Fowler Jr. It's the interior of this Cowboys defensive line. Kenny Clark, who they brought over in that trade for Micah Parsons. Odigizua. These are the guys that are going to have to stop Saquon Barkley in this running game and also be able to have to get after Jalen Hurts when he drops back to pass the ball.
How equipped is this secondary to make the transition that they're making? Because most of them cut their teeth playing a more man coverage or match coverage. And now Matt Eberflus, to your point, is way more zone-centric. Trayvon Diggs, Deron Bland. How equipped is that group to make that transition?
See, I like this group in that type of system because you think about a Trayvon Diggs, the one thing that we said about him before is he may end up getting 2 picks in a game, but he may give up a double move because his eyes and his instincts. Deron Bland, when he led the league in pick sixes and picks, that was what? Eyes on the quarterback, being able to make plays. So I like them in this system. Diggs hasn't played and practiced a lot in the preseason, so how fast can he catch up will be a big question mark.
Interesting. Dan, with Kellen Moore now gone, the Eagles offense has a new OC in place, Kevin Patullo. What kind of questions do you have about his impact tonight?
Well, I think, first of all, it starts on the interior of their offensive line. You know, Landon Dickerson just had knee surgery, and then Mekhi Becton, who was a human mover, is not there. So there's a little bit of maybe newness, and then also how healthy is Landon Dickerson. And then when it's specific to Kevin Patullo, I would say this. Kellen Moore last year was great at just committing to the run and almost being hard-headed of it. And that takes discipline. That takes being in the fire of it and just, nope, this is who we are. does Kevin Patullo have that same discipline? How does he force the ball to A.J. Brown or feed the ball to A.J. Brown? How does he make sure that there's a simplistic element to his route concepts? What's new? I think another thing is the Eagles were great at last year. Like, they would start a drive and they would hit a big play. They would just kill the line of scrimmage and almost run the same exact play. And so does Patullo have that as well? What's the wrinkle? There's a little bit of unknown.
It's so inside baseball, but you look at it, you've got this unknown at pass rusher for the Dallas Cowboys and this unknown on the offensive line on one side of it. So tonight we'll know. We'll know. If they're coming in there and you're seeing Sam Williams and Dante Fowler in the backfield all afternoon, you're going to say, okay, this might be an issue for the Eagles. If they're not getting in there, this could be a long season for Dallas.
Yeah. Landon Dickerson, by the way, a couple days ago, full participant in practice. All signs point to him being good to go. I know. We thought when we saw the injury, we're like, there's no way, but here he goes. All right, let's get to our top stories with Adam Schefter joining us here now. Adam, Micah Parsons not playing in tonight's game for Dallas after being traded to Green Bay last week, but your reporting today says the Packers weren't the only team with serious interest. What do we need to know?
Well, Laura, you heard Peter say the Cowboys aren't exactly sweating losing Micah Parsons, but I could tell you there was a team that really wanted to add Micah Parsons, and that team was in their division, and that team is their opponent tonight, the Philadelphia Eagles. They made overtures to see if the Cowboys would be willing to trade Micah Parsons, and the answer to that was no. In fact, when you look at it, my understanding is that the Eagles were prepared to offer significantly more than the Green Bay Packers to try to sway the Dallas Cowboys' minds, but it couldn't change them enough, and Micah Parsons ultimately dealt to Green Bay. Meanwhile, speaking of pass rushers, Nick Bonito becomes the latest one to get paid today on a 4-year deal that includes $70 million in guaranteed money. The deal could be worth up to $120 million, and the Broncos have had a successful offseason keeping their own. They've re-signed Cortland Sutton, they've re-signed Zach Allen, and now they've re-signed Nick Bonito before this season kicks off. Amari Cooper, who returned to football in late August, now has left football again. He walked away from the Raiders, retired from the game today. There was questions as to how he would fit in, and right now, obviously, he thought it would be easier to just move on, go his separate way, and so a receiver that the Raiders didn't have during the summer, they will not have for the regular season. And there will be a big game in Buffalo on Sunday night. Everybody remembers what happened in the playoffs last year with Mark Andrews when he had that devastating drop of a key pass that was pivotal in the Ravens' divisional round playoff loss to the Buffalo Bills. Andrews gets a chance to go back there on Sunday night, make amends, and he'll have the opportunity to do it in a game where it looks like the Baltimore Ravens also will not have their other tight end, Isaiah Likely, who suffered a foot injury earlier this summer. Likely not practicing again today, which would be a sign that he's not going to be active on Sunday night. So it looks like Mark Andrews may very well get the chance for a little redemption on Sunday night.
All right, more from Adam throughout the show. All the latest news, everything you need to know, he returns. Let's continue on Bills and Ravens.
Imagine,
now.
Sorry, if Micah Parsons was an Eagle.
You know what? I was stuck on that too. I'm thinking about Cowboys fans. Like, are you kidding me? All right, Bills and Ravens. The one thing we'll be watching on Sunday is how effective the Ravens are at getting to Josh Allen, the 2024 MVP, sacked 14 times last year, tied for the fewest in the NFL. Now, as for the Ravens defense, 54 sacks in total, second most in the NFL. They're third most in franchise history. So, J-Mac, that Ravens secondary very strong in the back half of last season. What are your expectations for them this week against Josh Allen? Because that's a tough test for any secondary.
The question for me this week is how fast can they come together? Kyle Hamilton is the piece there that was there. Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins should take a step in year 2. You're now adding Malachi Starks, the safety that you drafted to come in. He has to play a lot more with Darius Washington going down with a season-ending injury. Then the other cornerback spot, they brought over Jair Alexander, and then Chidobe Awuzie has played really well for them in the preseason. I think the way the secondary is able to play early on, it allows Zach Orr, the defensive coordinator, to dial up different pressures, different games up front to let those guys loose. A rookie by the name of Mike Green. I've talked to Kyle Van Noy about this kid. He said he has elite skills. I want to see what he looks like coming off the edge and what he can do early on for his defense.
I know. Some thought the Mike Green pick was kind of a steal too.
Yes.
It's good for them. All right, Peter. I watched your predictions. Okay, you got the Bills winning the Super Bowl.
A lot of negativity from the Chiefs.
Hey, Laurel have that burner account ready if something goes down.
Yeah, watch out. You need a burner account. It helps everything.
Schrager's smart. Yeah.
Let's talk about the Bills' offense. People people were kind of surprised they didn't add a big piece on the outside. What do you make of their pass catchers?
They last year didn't have that big piece on the outside. When they brought in Amari Cooper, it wasn't exactly like they're bringing in Jerry Rice, and they still managed to have as many passing touchdowns as any team, and Josh Allen played as well as he could. They love Khalil Shakir. They think he is a number one. They are fine with Khalil Shakir being that guy. Keon Coleman now in his second year, and then they brought in Josh Palmer. That is a good trio. You think Dalton Kincaid was a little, banged up last year? He's healthy now. Josh Allen has enough weapons, and that backfield of Ray Davis and James Cook is legit. One of the best offensive lines in football. I have picked the Buffalo Bills to not only win the Super Bowl, but to run away with the AFC. I think they're going to be a powerhouse, and the whole entire conference goes through them. Shakir is going to be one of the reasons why.
Dalton Kincaid was a first-round pick?
Yep, out of Utah.
He's got 4 touchdowns.
He was hurt last year.
I
Played through
understand that.
injuries.
He was supposed to change the whole offense.
Yeah, 90 catches 2 years ago.
44 catches last year. I mean, like, we're talking about the receivers, 100% agree. We talked about him yesterday. But could you imagine what this offense could get to if he steps forward? If he plays, I mean, I remember coming out of Utah, J-Mac, to your credit, and to your point, he was the bigger Cooper Kupp. He was it was rookie year, Peter, to your point, like he was really impressive.
And they used him a lot.
So can they, because, Joe Brady, the question is, for me, what's the new wrinkle? What's the new thing you're going to get to? If they can get Kincaid to play to the way that his talent is, I know Palmer's going to be a good player.
Is that a scheme thing? Like, could they do some things that highlight him in that way?
I don't think it's a scheme thing. I think he's just got to go produce things. He's got to stay healthy. I think he's good enough to do it. It's stay healthy and go produce. And the offensive line, the scheme, the quarterback, he should.
I was in one of those fantasy drafts, and I was looking at the list of players. Like, Kincaid was ranked like 18th, and I'm like,
four touchdowns.
Like, this guy was like the guy 2 years ago. So
and by the way, you brought this up yesterday. No Mac Hollins. I think they'll really miss him.
I agree.
Might not have gotten all the credit that he deserved, but
led the team in touchdowns.
The dirty work.
Not only on the field, in the locker room,
The
too.
dirty work.
Oh, goodness, this is fun. We're just getting started on NFL Live. Hey, Justin Fields and Aaron Rodgers, they're ready to settle old scores. They're